The House will come to order. Today, members Aidan Daughtery, guest of Representative Dusty Johnson, House District 63, will perform the national anthem for us. A beautiful way to start our day. Thank you so much. Today, Representative Gonzalez will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Schiebel, please call the roll.
Representatives Armagost, Bacon, AML Bacon,
Excused.
Barone, Byrd, Basenecker, Bottoms, Bradfield, Bradley, Brooks, Brown, Caldwell, Camacho, Carter, Clifford, Representative Clifford is excused. Rep. DeGraff is excused. Duran, English, Representative English is excused. Espinoza, Ferre, Froelich, Garcia, Garcia Sander, Gilchrist, Gonzalez, Hamrick, Hartsook, Jackson, Johnson, Joseph, Kelty, Leader, Lindsay, Representative Lindsay is excused. Linstead, Luck, Lukens, Mabry, Marshall, Martinez, Morrow, McCormick, Pascal, Phillips, Puglisi, Richardson, Ricks.
Present.
Representative Ricks is on the wall. Rutinell, Ryden, Sirota, Smith, Soper, Representative Soper is excused. Stewart K, Stewart R, Story, Representative Story is excused. Sukla, Taggart, Titone, Valdez A, Velasco. Rep. Velasco is excused. Weinberg. Wilford. Winter. Woodrow. Woog. Zokai. And Madam Speaker.
Members, with 59 present and 6 excused, we do have a quorum. Representative Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, good morning, happy Monday, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Madam Speaker, I move that the Journal of Friday, March 14, 2025, be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Members, not only have you heard the motion, but that is probably the best green suit in the room, Representative Gonzalez. So thank you for delivering it on St. Patty's Day in the right color. Members, you've heard the motion that the journal be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Members, we do have business to proceed to. I will invite everyone to take their seats. Mr. Schiebel, introduction of resolution.
Senate Joint Resolution 12 by Senators Roberts and Peltonar, also Representatives Johnson and Winter, concerning the designation of March 17th, 2025 as Colorado FFA Day.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend the rules for the immediate consideration of Senate Joint Resolution 012.
The motion before us is to suspend the rules for the immediate consideration of Senate Joint Resolution 12. Members, this does require a 2/3 vote as it is in regards to the suspension of rules. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Ricks is a yes, Mr. Schiebel? Richardson and Wilford. Please close the machine. With 61 aye, 1 no, 3 excused, the motion to suspend the rules is adopted. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title of Senate Joint Resolution 2512.
Senate Joint Resolution 12 by Senators Roberts and Peltonar, also Representatives Johnson and Winter, concerning the designation of March 17, 2025 as Colorado FFA Day.
Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I believe in the future of agriculture with a faith born not of words, but of deeds. Achievements won by present and past generations of agriculturalists, with the promise of better days through better ways, even as the better things we now enjoy have come to us through the struggles of former years. This is the first paragraph of the FFA Creed by E.M. Tiffany. This is a creed that all first-year FFA students, called Green Hands, not only memorize the words, but they embody the values and the principles, and it will carry on with them for life. Thank you so much to all of our FFA advisors for fostering and stewarding these FFA students so they can be successful in life. Without my own FFA advisors from Fort Morgan, I would not be where I am today. I move the resolution, sorry. I got so excited. I move SJR 25012.
Thank you.
And ask that it be the
Representative Johnson, would you like for it to be read at length?
Let's have it read at length, please.
Mr. Schiebel, please read our resolution.
Whereas the Colorado FFA is dedicated to making a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education. And whereas, founded in 1928, the Future Farmers of America brought together students, teachers, and agribusiness to solidify support for agricultural education. And whereas in 1988, the official name was changed to the National FFA Organization. This change was made to recognize the FFA is not only for those interested in farming, but also for those with more diverse interests in the agriculture industry, encompassing science, business, and technology, within and to support production farming. And whereas the Colorado FFA Foundation seeks human, financial, and in-kind resources to support agricultural education in Colorado for secondary and post-secondary students, adults participating in agricultural education, teachers of agricultural education, and FFA alumni. And whereas there are opportunities within the Colorado FFA Association for all members in grades 5 through 12 and in college to be involved in leadership and agriculture career development. And whereas whether a member grew up on a farm, in a suburb, or in an urban area, if they have a passion for judging and public speaking, want to explore the depths of agriscience, or get hands-on experience working in the industry, they're able to acquire such experiences through the diverse opportunities of agricultural education and the FFA. And whereas we recognize that the Colorado FFA Association and Foundation are growing leaders, building communities, and strengthening agriculture through youth development. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate of the 75th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we, the members of the General Assembly, proudly recognize and designate Colorado FFA Day on March 17th, 2025, in celebration of the many students who have gone and continue to go through the FFA program.
Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As you can tell, I am super passionate for FFA. Once you're in FFA, you always carry the national blue and the corn gold, which today makes St. Patty's green. So I'm so excited that they're here today. And as always, any FFA member and alum always knows that the reason we're here is to practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and to develop those leaderships in which an FFA member shall possess.
Assistant Minority Leader Winter.
Good morning, Speaker, and thank you. It's good to see the blue in here and the gold in here. Just so you all know, it isn't that you just sign up and get that jacket. That jacket takes work to get, especially those officers' jackets over there. That means that they're right now the leaders in their own respective areas, and that's why we're here today to represent. The beautiful thing about FFA is it teaches everything. It teaches, first of all, the skills, whether it be range judging for weeds and grasses, how to judge animals to know the meat qualities are the best, but they also teach business and Parley Pro. So what this is doing is this is setting up successful new leaders in this realm, in this sphere of agriculture. It's important that when kids like this come to the Capitol, because they are our future leaders. They take this serious, and it's a huge commitment to be an FFA because you take all of these skills and you apply them to an SAE project, which is to show your skills, the topic that you picked, and how you can be successful as a business person as well. So it's the full gamut. Teaches them how to weld, anything you could imagine to be successful in the farming or ranching lifestyle. And I'm honored to have these leaders here today. I appreciate you all for being here, and keep up what you're doing. A lot of times the rural voice is lost, and you will be the next generation of champions to speak truth and light about rural Colorado. So thank you for being here today. So you're going to get clapped at twice. Would you please stand up? Thank you.
Representative Sukla.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So I have, and I am so glad to see the state officers here. So I have a story. I ran for county commissioner, and I won. I couldn't believe I won, but I did win. And then I realized that I didn't know anything about Robert's Rules of Orders. So what I did is after I won, I went to the Montezuma County High School, and I went to they were having their class, and I had the FFA kids teach me Robert's Rules of Order in the high school after I won for county commissioner. What's interesting is after I won, I went up to Denver to CCI, which we all know is Colorado Counties, and I can tell you one thing. Those FFA kids could put some whooping on those county commissioners when it came to Robert's Rules of Order. one thing about this organization that's unbelievable is that it teaches them speaking skills that is unmasked. And when you have things in your community, if say that you have somebody that has a car wreck or you have somebody that has cancer and you do fundraisers, do you know who it is that is always at all those functions that is taking the plates of food and that is helping out? It's the FFA kids. And I'm proud. My daughter was in FFA, which is my aide, and it's just a great organization, and I just wanted to thank you guys.
We owe the FFA students of your district a great deal of gratitude, Rep. Sukla. Thank you all for being here. I'm very proud to own my father's FFA jacket, and I should have worn it today in honor of all of you. Thank you for being here. Members, the motion before us is the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 12. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 63 ayes, 0 no, 2 excused, Senate Joint Resolution 12 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Members, we are proceeding to third readings. I will invite you to take your seats. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to proceed out of order for third reading of bills final passage.
Seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order for consideration of the third reading of bills. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1169.
House Bill 1169 by Representatives Bastenecker and Mabry, also Senators Gonzalez and Exum, concerning the promotion of residential development on qualifying properties.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1169 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1169 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 40 aye, 23 no, and 2 excused, House Bill 1169 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1234.
House Bill 1234 by Representatives Ricks and Joseph, also Senator Winter, concerning consumer protection for utility customers.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1234 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption for House Bill 1234 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 20 no, and 2 excused, House Bill 1234 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1211.
House Bill 1211 by Representatives Stewart R. and Leader, also Senator Bridges, concerning the provision of water service by special districts and in connection therewith requiring a special district to satisfy certain requirements when establishing the amount of a tap fee.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1211 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1211 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 36 aye, 27 no, and 2 excused, House Bill 1211 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1094.
House Bill 1094 by Representatives Brown and Johnson, also Senators Pelton B. and Roberts, concerning pharmacy benefit manager practices that affect prescription drug costs.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1094 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1094 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Rep. Hartsook. Please close the machine. With 48 aye, 15 no, and 2 excused, House Bill 1094 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1230.
House Bill 1230 by Representatives Caldwell and Pascal, also Senator Winter, concerning changes to the traffic violation for overtaking a school bus.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1230 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1230 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 58 aye, 5 no, and 2 excused, House Bill 1230 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Members, we are now moving on to consideration of Senate amendments to House bills. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendment to House bills.
Seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order for the consideration of Senate amendments to House bills. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1035.
House Bill 1035 by Representative Pascal, also Senator Weissman, concerning changes to the Collaborative Management Program.
Representative Pascal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Okay, I have to apologize in advance because I didn't know this was going to happen on St. Patrick's Day, so I don't have a limerick. Yes, deep Irish shame. Okay. Yes, this bill was flawed. Misconceptions flew about. Now the intent is clear. Okay, so if you remember back, this is the bill about collaborative management program. This is helping youth that is at risk. And this is the one where we had kids selling their medical records in the parking lot for lollipops. That was not the intent. So this is the new language. Nothing in this section prohibits the release of records created by the individualized service and support team pursuant to existing laws of the state. Nothing changes in this regard in this bill. I move that the House concur with the Senate amendment to HB 25-1035.
Thank you, Representative Pascal. The motion before us is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1035. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Because I did that in the wrong
Yes.
order.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 44 aye, 19 no, and 2 excused, the motion to concur is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the repassage of House Bill 1035 as amended.
The motion before us is to repass House Bill 1035 as amended. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 20 no, and 2 excused, House Bill 1035 as amended is repassed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1009.
House Bill 1009 by Representatives Morrow and Joseph, also Senators Cutter and Hendrickson, concerning a vegetative fuel mitigation program for a district providing fire protection services.
Representative Morrow.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to concur with Senate amendment on House Bill 251009.
Thank you. Please proceed.
These are just some clarifying amendments that were taken care of in the Senate to cover some questions that ditch companies and other entities had, and so we're happy to accept those, except not so happily. So the bill returns, not on our own. Its shape is changed, its purpose toned. Yet still we yield, though not with glee, for progress asks this price of me.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1009. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Pascal. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 20 no, 2 excused, the motion to concur is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the repassage of House Bill 1009 as amended.
The motion before us is the repassage of House Bill 1009 as amended. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 20 no, and 2 excused, House Bill 1009 as amended is repassed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1016.
House Bill 1016 by Representative Stewart R., also Senators Michelson, Janine Rich, concerning authorizing an occupational therapist to prescribe durable medical equipment.
Representative Stewart.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 25-1016.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Requiring communication from the OTs, I'm asking for concurrence, please. I'll stop rhyming, geez Louise.
Okay, that might be my favorite yet.
That was a Froelich special.
The motion before us is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1016. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 62 aye, 1 no, 2 excused, the motion to concur with Senate amendments is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the repassage of House Bill 1016 as amended.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1016, the repassage of House Bill 1016 as amended. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Madam Majority Leader. Please close the machine. With 62 aye, 1 no, 2 excused, House Bill 1016 as amended is repassed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1091.
House Bill 1091 by Representative Phillips, also Senator Mullica, concerning the designation of the Agaricus julius mushroom as the state mushroom.
Representative Phillips.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
I move to concur with the Senate amendment to HB 1091.
Please proceed, Rep. Phillips.
Thank you. First, I want to apologize that I'm not wearing a raspberry beret because it's St. Patrick's Day. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Electric word, life. It means forever, and that's a mighty long time. But I'm here to tell you there's something else. And the other thing is HB 1091, where we're identifying the state mushroom as the Agaricus julius, formerly known as Prince. I move for its approval.
There are no words. Thank you, Representative Phillips.
Thank you, Madam
Members,
Speaker.
the motion before us is the effort to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1091. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yeah.
I think that was a yes. Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 56 ayes, 7 no, 2 excused, the motion to concur is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the repassage of House Bill 1091 as amended.
The motion before us is the repassage of House Bill 1091 as amended. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Hartsook and Pascal. Please close the machine. With 59 aye, 4 no, and 2 excused, House Bill 1091 as amended is repassed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1027.
House Bill 1027 by Representatives Gilchrist and Brown, also Senators Doherty and Mullica, concerning modifications to statutes governing disease control.
Representative Gilchrist.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 251027.
Please proceed.
Thank you. After some additional stakeholders, the Senate made some small changes to adhere to national standards and made a technical cleanup change. The law is evolving. It's time for a change. Old rules revised to expand the range. From disease prevention to screenings, updates are wise. For a healthier future, let's modernize.
Woohoo.
Wait,
Representative Brown.
we asked for an aye vote.
Thank you.
That was a good idea. Members, the motion before us is to concur with Senate amendments on House Bill 1027. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Joseph Mabry Smith. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 20 no, and 2 excused, the motion to concur is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the repassage of House Bill 1027 as amended.
The motion before us is the repassage of House Bill 1027 as amended. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 20 no, 2 excused, House Bill 1027 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1093.
House Bill 1093 by Representatives Stewart R. and Brown, also Senators Ball and Henriksen, concerning limitations on local land use policies that impose conditions that limit growth.
Representative Barone.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to concur with Senate amendments to HB 1093.
Please proceed. Representative Stewart.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 1093 moves ahead, limiting growth barriers, it said, with wildlife corridors now preserved, a smarter path where housing's deserved.
Representative Barone.
And I ask for a aye vote.
Well done. The motion before us is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1093. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 48 aye, 15 no, and 2 excused, the motion to concur is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the repassage of House Bill 1093 as amended.
The motion before us is the repassage of House Bill 1093 as amended. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 47 ayes, 16 no, and 2 excused, House Bill 1093 as amended is repassed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Members, before we go on to special orders, second reading today, we are going to pause and do our announcements. Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, I invite you up here. I will make one announcement. Representatives Sirota, Byrd, and Taggart will be excused at such time as needed so that the JBC can meet.
Rep. Wilford. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. The State Civic, Military, and Veterans Affairs Committee will meet at 1:30 p.m. in LSBA to hear House Bill 1225 and Senate Bill 59. Please be on time. Thanks.
Representative Bradfield.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I am here. I just want to announce that the legislator and Bible study will meet tomorrow morning, 7:15 in room 109 downstairs. Would love to have you there. Thank you.
Rep. Lindstedt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. House Finance will be meeting today at 1:30 to hear House Bills 1126, 1245, 1223, 1220, and 1105. 1260 will be heard at a future date. Thank you.
Rep. Gilchrist.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I just wanted to welcome the 4th grade class of Park Hill Elementary. If you're here, if you want to stand up and say hello. Park Hill is in my district. We're so happy to have you here.
Rep. Sirota.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Colleagues, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in the Old State Library, House Appropriations will meet to hear Senate Bill 3, 188, and 199, and any other that may have been sent to Appropriations. See you there.
Madam Speaker and Rep. McCormick, or Madam Speaker and Rep. Woog. Madam Speaker.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, it is an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
Members, I am so excited and thrilled to welcome today our friends from the Butterfly Pavilion. It is Butterfly Pavilion Day at the Capitol. Woohoo! The esteemed Representative Woog and I are here to celebrate invertebrates, the hidden heroes of our planet. They pollinate our crops, enrich our soil, and sustain entire ecosystems. For 30 years, the Butterfly Pavilion has led the way in research, conservation, education, and hands-on experiences to elevate awareness and inspire action. I know because I have held Rosie the tarantula. But protecting invertebrates requires all of us. We must advocate for policies that safeguard their habitats, support conservation efforts, and educate future generations about their importance. I'm so happy to have representatives from the pavilion here and want to give a shout out to Senator Catlin for not making the majority leader and I do a skit this year. It wasn't so good last year.
Rep Woog, people are still talking about it for whatever it's worth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Thank you, and thank you to the Butterfly Pavilion for coordinating this important event. Invertebrates make up 97% of all known species, yet they remain underappreciated. They provide 1 in 3 bites of our food, support the wildlife we cherish, and maintain the health of our environment. From the monarch's migration to the mantis shrimp's extraordinary strength, these remarkable creatures shape our world in ways we cannot afford to overlook. We have many invertebrates that are native to Colorado, including the Colorado hair-streaked butterfly, walnut twig beetle, and the Colorado potato beetle. Join me in recognizing, appreciating, and protecting the small wonders that sustain life on Earth.
And,
Madam Speaker.
thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, a couple of lively facts you should all know. Honeybee females kill the male bees in the winter. Leadership, says our AML. Lobsters taste with their feet, and butterflies drink the tears of alligators.
Representative Woog.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. How did I know you were going to start with that one? Out of order. I knew it. Butterflies drink, you read that one. Butterflies drink the tears of alligators. Starfish excrete their stomachs to eat. Velvet ants scream when they are scared. Swallowtail caterpillars pop out their antennas as a defense and excrete a smell of parsley.
There you have it.
Thank you both. Representative Woodrow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Colleagues, top of the morning. If it's March 17th, it means 2 things. 1, it is St. Patty's Day, and I am such a fan. And 2, it means that my son has turned 14 years old. Happy birthday, Brady. Love you.
Happy birthday to Brady. Representatives Joseph and Armagost. Representative Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Colleagues, today is Aerospace and Defense Caucus Day at the State Capitol. They are on the first floor. Please go and visit them. As you know, we have the 2nd largest aerospace economy with more than 400 companies here in the state of Colorado. Please go down there and show your support. And we also have some industry leaders here with us today. Can you please stand and welcome them as well? Please stand.
Rep. Armagost.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. So yes, Aerospace Day of the Capitol today. We do every year. Get downstairs on the first floor if you're able to and visit with the industry leaders and educators in aerospace and defense. And then there's a reception at the Civic Center from 3 to 4. So join us there if you're able to, but otherwise go down and meet and see some of the pretty amazing things that Colorado has to offer in the aerospace industry.
Thank you.
Rep. Ryden.
Thank you. I also have some guests here for Aerospace Day. My brother and his coworkers from Studio SC on the side here. If he tells you that he has a picture of me on the toilet playing a violin, that he is the original, he's lying. He does not have that.
Madam Speaker, Rep. McCormick.
Good morning, Mick Speaker Pro Tem.
Good morning to you, Mick
Top
Speaker.
of the morning, members. We are so excited to welcome you to St. Patty's Day in the House. The Mick Caucus, a bit smaller than it has been in past years.
We're a little mix-sad.
A lot Mick-sad. We are awfully pleased to bring you Mick Breakfast in the kitchen today, and anyone celebrating their Irish, Scottish, or other heritage, please celebrate with green, joy, and a good wish to all.
Rep. McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Yes, as some of you who have been here for several years know that we have some Mick attrition happening in our caucus, but we stand strong. We're still here. I'm a McSkimming McCormick, so my grandfather actually came over in the diaspora from Ireland at the turn of the century, so I got it all. I got the Irish and the Scottish. So we have an intruder that wants to budge their way in here, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem.
Representative Byrd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Yes, I am an intruder. I'm about 98% pure-blooded Irish. I am the daughter of Veronica Catherine Malone, Elizabeth Feeney, and Teresa Gallagher, and we are from Ireland. My mother actually is first generation from immigrant from Ireland. And to celebrate this St. Patty's Day, I hope all of you who are Irish or who wish you were Irish or who are just Irish for today would join us in a celebration of the old Gaelic blessing, which my grandmother, Teresa Gallagher, always had posted up in her backyard. An old Irish blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
All right, I got one more.
Rep. McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. On to business. We have Agriculture, Water, and Natural Resources Committee meeting today at 1:30. We will be hearing two bills, Senate Bill 15 and Senate Bill 128.
Representative Clifford.
Thank you. The Colorado State Patrol Association wants everyone to know that they're going to have their meet and greet in the outside the old Supreme Court. Let me read that further. Hold on. Outside the old Supreme Court, 8 to 9 in the morning. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the following bills be made or be added to the special orders list of Monday, March 17th, 2025 at 10:58 a.m. House Bill 1250, House Bill 1219, House Bill 1210, Senate Bill 140, and House Bill 1283.
Seeing no objection, the bills listed by the Majority Leader will be added to the special orders calendar Monday, March 17th at 10:58 a.m. Representative Froelich. Members, you've heard the motion. Representative Froelich will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for a bill to be read at length. Committee reports are printed and are in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen on iLegislate and in today's folder on your box account. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the majority leader, and the coat rule is relaxed. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1224 until tomorrow.
That is a proper motion. That bill is laid over until tomorrow. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title of House Bill 1250.
House Bill 1250 by Representative Hamrick, also Senator Cutter, concerning providing materials about gun violence prevention to parents with students in K through 12.
Representative Hamrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 25-1250 in the Education Committee report.
To the Education Committee report.
The Education Committee report, we added one amendment that corrected duplicative language and also clarified for stakeholders that providing this Office of Gun Violence Prevention information could be done via a link on their website.
The question, is there any further discussion on the Education Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Education Committee report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the bill, Representative Hamrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I'm here to present House Bill 25-1250, a straightforward bill aimed at keeping children safe by providing information on Colorado's safe storage law through the schools. This bill originated from a 2023 interim committee, Colorado Youth Advisory Council. Our students brought this to the adults as a way to help end firearm-related deaths among their peers. And full disclosure, my husband, son, son-in-law, and many friends own firearms and safely store them. This bill creates a process in which school districts provide information about Colorado's safe storage law at the start of each year, as well as local resources that can aid in safe storage of firearms crafted by the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. One resource that will be linked is the Firearm Injury Prevention Initiative at the CU Anschutz Medical Campus, a nonpartisan healthcare coalition which has partnered with gun store shooting range owners in the state to create a first-in-the-nation interactive map which allows Coloradans to locate a place out of the home should they choose to safely store their firearms out of the home. This effort is a testament to how many communities can come together across different sectors to prioritize safety and save lives. Districts may provide the information as a handout or a web link to the Office of Gun Violence Prevention's Safe Storage fact sheet. This bill has a zero fiscal note and no new restrictions. It simply provides parents with vital safety information. Similar efforts in California and Texas have been implemented in recent years. Texas recognized the urgency of the issue in 2019, dedicated funding to a robust public service campaign, Keep 'em Safe Texas, focused on the safe storage of firearms. As part of this initiative, Texas provides parents and safe storage law information through school districts. Similarly, California enacted its parent notification law in 2022. These actions make it clear that educating parents on secure firearm storage is a bipartisan concern. Because protecting our children is not a political issue, but a matter of safety and responsibility, I urge an aye vote on House Bill 25-1250.
Representative Armagost.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's a lot of concerning things for me on this bill, and I think more people should understand what those concerning things are, so I ask the bill be read at length.
That is a proper motion. The bill will be read at length. Members, it has been requested that bill number 1240 be,
A bill for an act.
1250 be read at length, and so that's what's going to happen.
ACT. 101 concerning providing materials about gun violence. 102 prevention to parents with students in K-12. Bill summary. Note, this summary applies to this bill as introduced and does not reflect any amendments that may be subsequently adopted. If this bill passes third reading in the House of Introduction, a bill summary that applies to the re-engrossed version of this bill will be available at http://leg.colorado.gov. The bill requires the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, Office, in the Department of Public Health and Environment to post the office's gun violence prevention materials in an accessible manner on the office's website for school districts, boards of cooperative services, district charter schools, institute charter schools, approved facility schools, and the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind. Local education providers, 2. House sponsorship Hamrick. Senate sponsorship Cutter. Shading denotes House amendment. Double underlining denotes Senate amendment. Capital letters or bold and italic numbers indicate new material to be added to existing law. Dashes through the words or numbers indicate deletions from existing law. Access and distribute to parents, guardians, and legal custodians of elementary or secondary school students. The bill requires each local education provider to provide the materials in a written or electronic format to students' parents, guardians, and legal custodians at the beginning of each school year, and post the materials on the local education provider's website. 1. Be it enacted by the General Assembly of the State of Colorado, 2 Section 1. In Colorado Revised Statutes, 25-20.5-1203, add 3, 2e, as follows, for 25-20.5-1203. Gun Violence Prevention Awareness and 5 Education, Violence Intervention Grant Program, Rules. 2e. The 6th office shall post the materials developed pursuant to TO7 subsection 2a 2 of this section in an accessible manner on the 8 office's website for local education providers, as defined IN 9 section 22-1-148, 2 access and distribute TO parents, guardians, 10 and legal custodians of elementary or secondary school 11 students. 12 section 2. In Colorado Revised Statutes, add 22-1-148 as 13 follows, 1422-1-148. Gun Violence Prevention Awareness, materials to 15 parents, definitions. 1. AS used in this section, unless the 16 context otherwise requires. 17. A. Local education provider means a school district 18 created pursuant to Article 30 of this Title 22, a board of 19 cooperative services created pursuant to Article 5 of this title. 2022, a charter school authorized by a school district pursuant to 21 Part 1 of Article 30.5 of this Title 22, an institute charter school 22 authorized by the State Charter School Institute pursuant to -2, HB 25-1250. 1 Part 5 of Article 30.5 of this Title 22, an approved facility school, 2 as defined in Section 22-2-402, and the Colorado School for the 3 Deaf and the Blind authorized pursuant to Section 22-80-102. 4b. Materials means the Gun Violence Prevention 5 materials created by the Office of Gun Violence Prevention and 6 posted on the website of the office pursuant to Section 725-20.5-1203, 2b. 8. 2a. A local education provider, at the beginning of 9 each school year, shall access the materials posted on the 10 website of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention and distribute 11 the materials, in a written or electronic format, to each parent, 12 guardian, and legal custodian of a student enrolled in a school 13 of the local education provider. 14b. Each local education provider shall post the 15 materials on the local education provider's website. 16 Section 3. Act subject to petition, effective date. This Act 17 takes effect at 12:01 a.m. on the day following the expiration of the 1890-day period after final adjournment of the General Assembly, except 19 that, if a referendum petition is filed pursuant to Section 1(3) of Article V20 of the state constitution against this act or an item, section, or part of this 21 act within such period, then the act, item, section, or part will not take 22 effect unless approved by the people at the general election to be held in November 23, 2026 and, in such case, will take effect on the date of the 24 official declaration of the vote thereon by the governor. -3, HB 25-1250.
Representative Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I was in Education Committee for this bill, and on its face, it seems the intent is well, right? So we were given a flyer. I don't have the flyer on hand. We were given a flyer that is provided by the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, and my good colleague here from El Paso has the flyer. Thank you, ma'am. And so, you know, there's some helpful information on here about gun storage and whatnot. My concerns were with what is on the second page of the flyer, where it talks about ERPOs. It talks about suicide rates. It also talks about giving your firearm to family members, giving them to friends. And I talked with the bill sponsor afterwards, after I voted no in committee, and she explained where the information come from, and I thought it was fair. I do just have a general concern about just kind of the further stigmatization of this issue. this bill is not required. Schools do not need a bill to tell them to distribute this information. They can already do that if they want to. I do appreciate the sponsors bringing an amendment that says you don't have to post the flyer on the website. You can just post a link to it. That was a fair amendment, but again, it's this further, I think what we're doing is scaring kids. And one of the examples I gave was, once upon a time in this country, we used to actually do things like gun safety classes in school. And when I talk to kids about that, they think I'm making it up. And I think that kind of goes to my point that it's just this constant bombardment of the stigmatization of firearms, and that's what this does. We're giving this to kids at the beginning of every year, and we're telling them that 90% of suicides are by firearms. And so if your parents have firearms in their house, in your house, that there's a high likelihood that you could commit suicide with it. And again, I don't understand why we keep bombarding our kids with these negative pieces of information. And again, any school district can do this. This information is on the Office of Gun Violence Prevention's website. They can send that out if the school chooses to do it, if the school board chooses to do it, if it's a charter school, if their school board chooses to do it, they can send this out at the beginning of every year and provide it to parents. Because there is some helpful information on there about firearm storage and safe practices. Another issue that I didn't bring up in committee, but I thought more about it, and one of my colleagues brought it up, is that this is going to be required annually by schools, right? And let's first off make the point that this is an unfunded mandate because this is requiring distribution of material and it's not allocating funds for it. And while you can save on maybe paper if you go through the website route and you just post the link, it does cost money. Schools have to pay their computer system administrators to update their websites. So there is a level of cost to it, even though the fiscal note is zero. But the issue that one of my colleagues brought up that I didn't make the connection in committee is that this is required annually. So while we were given a flyer that is from the Office of Gun Violence Prevention and we were told this is what's going to be distributed, this is what's going to be distributed this year. I don't know what the Office of Gun Violence Prevention is going to do next year. Maybe it's way more objectionable facts on there besides just telling kids that if you have a gun in the house, suicide's a higher likelihood. So this is something we're mandating on schools. We're not funding it, and we're telling them you have to do this every year, and this is fluid information that can be updated to maybe have stuff on there that is less agreeable than what's on here right now. And so again, I just want to go back to this goes to the further stigmatization of firearms, and we're pushing this on our kids, and we don't actually talk to them about things like gun safety. So I do stand in opposition against this, and I will be a no vote. Thank you.
Representative Bradfield.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am the ranking member in education, and I just want to echo everything that Representative Caldwell said. And I know that you all were listening to what he had to say, so I will not take time or interest away from you all, but this is not necessary. This bill is claims to have no fiscal note, but we all know that anytime you have to reproduce something in paper or even in electronic form for every single parent that you have in your school district, that can be a costly endeavor. So I urge a no vote on this bill. It's not needed. Thank you.
Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I also was on the Education Committee, and we heard late into the night about testimony on this. And the students did a well job talking about their efforts, that they want to end the firearm stigma, and they just want to make sure that there are resources available for education. So when asked if instead of adding to the stigma if they would be open to hunter's education or education like we do for vehicles when they learn how to drive on how to utilize this tool so that way there's not fear and they best know what to do should they decide to exercise their Second Amendment or should they ever come upon a firearm in one of their friends' houses, and they said they would love to. So I was open to that conversation. I'm glad they're open to it. Echoing what my colleagues had said on Education Committee, when you do changes, there's a fiscal note. While there's not one at the state level, this offers for the districts, the local level, an unfunded mandate that we are forcing on them that they can already do at will. They could work with their community partners, they can work with their local governance, and they can do this as will already. So why are we adding an unfunded mandate? It says no, but we know it has to cost. Nothing is free. So I strongly urge a no vote.
Representative Bradley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too rise against this bill. I don't understand why we're doing something that the local schools should be able to do. Again, just like the previous colleague said, it's an unfunded mandate. And looking at some of these handouts, I have to wonder if this is taxpayer funded, does it explain all perspectives? Because again, 1.5 million to 3 million crimes are prevented by brandishing a gun. There are many kids that use a gun to protect their households from people coming in. So are we explaining that to the children, that a gun can actually prevent a crime from happening in your house, or is it just all guns are bad? Because my children would use a gun to protect themselves if somebody was coming into our house. So I wonder if this is even going to be fair and balanced. I think it's stigmatizing gun owners. I hesitate to think that you'll bring stakeholders to the table from the Second Amendment community. We see just an attack, an onslaught of anti-gun legislation, and I think that kids should know that guns are safe and can keep them from being victims of crimes. And I wonder why we're bringing...
They have the best intentions with this. There's not anyone in this room that would want a child to be endangered. But as a former school board member, I can tell you that this is an unnecessary bill. The materials are produced. They're already available. If schools want to provide them, if districts want to provide them, they can do so. They don't need law to tell them to do so. Little bit concerned that as the Office of Gun Violence Prevention is being perpetuated by this bill. It can never go away under this bill because it has to produce materials every year under this bill. If we decide, or if we conquer gun violence somehow, make it all go away, we still have a requirement on the books that this office exist and produce materials to be distributed every year. So just necessitating yet another bill to take it away. There is concern, I think, that over time the materials produced could start leaning one way or the other, in a way that maybe those of us on my side of the aisle don't like, or in the future under other leadership, it might lean in a direction that the other side of the aisle doesn't like. Abraham Lincoln was famously quoted as saying the philosophy in the classroom of one generation becomes the philosophy of the government in the next. So we are potentially swaying the philosophy of future government by pushing this into the classroom. So frankly, I don't think it's our role to tell parents how to parent. Apparently that is not a belief shared by a lot, but I think that's what this bill is doing, and I do urge a no vote.
Representative Garcia Sander.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm coming at this from a little bit different angle than my wonderful colleagues. I am a former school principal and a teacher who was employed during Columbine when that happened. And so I totally get where this is coming from. But I also, as a principal and school district administrator, oftentimes when we have legislation come out and teachers ask, why do we have to start, or why do we have to stop doing? It's like, well, that's the legislature who, yes, they're not walking in our shoes. They make laws. We have to implement them. I've got the school law book from 1933 that I've kept on my desk for the past 20 years, and Colorado school law book from 2024. They're pretty different in appearance, size, weight, font, margins.
Why is this a bill? It would be great if it's permissive. I think there's a lot of schools that would want to put this, link this to their sites, PTOs that would want to put out materials, but I don't think it's necessary to have it be a bill because, again, we've got lots of laws on the books, and I just don't see the practicality of this needing to be a bill. It'd be better if it were permissive and suggested rather than a mandate. Thank you. I urge a no.
Representative Hartsock.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, sponsors. So, we have a piece of legislation here that's to be handed out to kids. Now, depending on where you fall in this debate, what is not up for an option is putting the schools and the parents against each other with the kids in the middle. So follow me on this scenario. You've got a family, whether they're ranchers, hunters, whatever, they have a lot of guns. And they go out hunting. And they're teaching their kids, take them through the hunter safety like I took my kids through. You take them hunting like I've done with my kids. And then they get this document that's passed out in school. And it states how to reduce suicide. It states secure storage. So I have storage. But it says good ways to get rid of them. Trusted family member. So now we've got this school that is handing out a document to kids and putting kids in the middle to make a decision of who's a trusted family member. That's a parent's job. We are conflating kids to make decisions about who's trusted and who's not because they're being handed a document that says Office of Gun Violence. They've got their parents or other family members that are teaching them about guns and through hunter safety. And this is saying, oh, it's best to give your guns away. It's best to store them somewhere else. It's best to give them to a friend. Now, if you're a teenager, your friends are probably other teenagers. You might have a few adult friends, but they're probably other teenagers. And we're saying, give it to a friend. And that's just opening up a whole nother avenue for kids to hand a gun to another kid. Why would we ever want to put kids in the middle? Why should we be asking kids to start making a decision about what's safe and what isn't? Everything should be done in conjunction with the parents, especially when it comes to firearms. You look at the rural communities, and firearms are kind of a way of life. You've heard them speak about that all the time down here. And yet now we want this handed out in every school, telling kids that's not the safest way to do things. So now in the child's mind, there's like, well, wait a minute, is mom and dad telling me it's safe to have the guns in the house? Is it safe to go hunting? Is it safe to go out target practicing? Because the school's saying, you know, I'm handing out this document that says that's not the safest way to do things. They're not saying it's not safe, they're saying it's not the safest way. It says the safest way is to turn it in. So now that child has a conflict in their mind. And we talk about mental health here all the time, and we are deliberately putting legislation that creates a confrontation in a child's mind. Why would we do that? Why would we create kids to have more confusion, more issues? Being an adolescent is already hard enough. Every adolescent already has problems with the parents. And yet now we want to add another thing on top of that issue, whether it's boyfriend-girlfriend issues, social issues, home study issues, trying to get everything ready. You got prom, you got homecoming, you got everything else. And now we're saying, oh, hey, here, oh, by the way, your gun's not stored safe enough. You shouldn't have them. It's better, it's safer to do something else with them. But mom and dad are saying, hey, let's go to the range on the weekend. I've taken my kids out shooting, since they were little. They start out shooting with the little 22s. Actually, little pellet guns. And then 22s. And then as they moved up through hunter safety, went shooting with the rifles and the shotguns. and we're out in the trap and skeet range. What we should be doing in school, just like we do with driver's ed, we should be teaching hunter safety. We should be teaching how to handle a weapon. We should be teaching what the common courtesies are when you're on a range. We should be teaching exactly how to handle a weapon. We should be teaching that hunter safety just like we teach everything else, instead of instilling fear and confusion in a kid's mind. We have enough problems in this society with mental health, and yet we're going to add to it by saying, oh, here's something that's going to create doubt versus what mom and dad are saying. When it talks about trusted friend and they can't have it for longer than 72 hours, do we honestly think the teenager is going to calculate the 72 hours if they take and give a gun to a trusted friend? Not to mention the trusted friend's probably going to be another kid. Do you think they're going to track the 72 hours? Or are we just going to say, oh, that's the other adult's job to do? The kid's got to get rid of it. Or do we take it one step further and say the kids are now going to report it to law enforcement because they're saying that's the safest way to do things? We teach kids to respect law enforcement. We teach kids to respect parents. We teach kids to respect educators in schools. And this bill puts those entities, if they have differing views, opposed to each other, and the kid is supposed to sort it out. That is the last thing we should be doing. We should be teaching kids safety. We should be teaching kids how to act responsibly. Most of us went through hunter safety, at least most generations went through hunter safety. And now it's so taboo that we want to say it's not the safest way to do things, and we're instilling fear out there and confusion. Again, that is the absolute last thing we should do. I'm opposed to this bill, and I would urge you to vote no. Thank you so much.
Representative Luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My reading of this bill says that it is the school district who has to do two things. They have to take this information and either post it as full document, PDF, directly onto their website, or they have to post a link from their website to this material on the office's website. It's the first thing. The second thing is that they have to distribute it either in hard copy form or via some sort of electronic communication to the parents or legal guardians of the students within that district. Which, some would say that that's minor. You just add a paragraph in your opening orientation email that links it in, and you've checked that box and you're good to go and you've moved on. And I can appreciate the bill sponsor's desire to want this information in the hands of folks to try and encourage particular types of safe behaviors behind or around firearms. I get that. My concern is as relates to my particular district and its school districts. So we can't convey the intent of a particular bill sponsor to the hearts and minds of the parents and guardians who receive this communication. That's not possible. And what my people are primed for right now is every message being against their fundamental right to keep and bear arms. They're primed for that. They receive messages through that lens, that everything is being sent out as, in their words, probably propaganda to promote anything that is not actually supportive of or fairly treated towards firearms. And so what my concern is that that school district, by law, will send this out, and those parents will read it, and it will flood Facebook, it will flood Nextdoor, it will flood social media, and people will be very angry with the school district board because there will be a sense that they're the ones who are pushing a particular narrative in a community that otherwise is very firearm friendly. And so I don't think that we inserting ourselves into those communities and into those conversations is actually helpful for places like mine, because all it's going to do is generate additional conflict and contention around leadership, around elected officials. It's going to create confusion. It's going to create a situation where parents will believe that this material is not just put in this email, but it's also being promulgated within the classrooms, which is only going to encourage this already growing trend of parents wanting to remove their kids from public schools. And so if you don't want the public school system to continue to have a drain, especially in rural Colorado where there are other options, I would strongly encourage you to double think this. I understand it's a simple link. I understand it's a simple document, but the message that it's going to convey in communities like mine is actually counterproductive to building communities that are safe, that are whole, that are otherwise moving together to problem solve around their particular problems, and that is conducive in any way, shape, or form to kids going to public schools. I'm not exaggerating when I say that a number of people in my district are already looking for a variety of other educational opportunities and alternatives, and doing stuff like this will only encourage and incentivize them further to abandon the public school system for something else. Thank you.
Representative Armagost.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think for me, the things that come first and foremost as a concern with this is the messaging and the language on the handout that we're seeing is, it induces fear of firearms. There's something for somebody that isn't familiar with firearms, and they're seeing lethal suicides. They're seeing all these statistics and numbers of things of how guns essentially are responsible for all of these things. And that, I have to agree with my colleague who just spoke, in that it does send a wrong message. I think when we're talking education and bringing things into the schools, the late and great Hugh McKean, representative, brought forward the same kind of a methodology with hunter education, bringing that into the schools and offering that into the schools. I think that's a great way to encourage safe and responsible gun ownership through the means of hunting, through the means of sporting, and otherwise safe handling and even storage of firearms. Hunter education covers all of that. I know that because I'm an instructor. It's something that we should be pushing. If we're going to be going further in that direction, sure, let's mandate that. That becomes an extracurricular activity in every school. But this, I think, just puts out a message where we're inducing fear in kids and families, because they're going to take this home, and parents are going to see this, especially those that aren't familiar and or comfortable with guns. So I don't like this as an idea of putting out to our kids in schools, further creating this demonization of firearms, where there's already enough of a just glamorization of firearms and everything through video games and movies. We need to have a little bit more responsible and more realistic firearms training and firearms exposure through hunter education and things like that. By the age of 12, I think every kid should be attending hunter education, absolutely. Would I mandate that? No, I don't think that's something to push on parents or schools, but since we're going in the complete opposite direction, I'd say, yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we do need to go back in that direction. But in the meantime, this flyer is annual. It's going to be year to year. So the thing that concerns me is with this being promoted by the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, as we see on the bills that are pushed by the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, it's very partisan. The partisanship there can create a concern, especially my colleagues on my side, on what is this going to be every year. What are we going to see? Is this going to change and turn into something that goes completely off the charts as far as fear mongering with kids and guns or parents and guns, or is this going to be something that stays somewhat streamlined as here's something that you can look at as information-based? But without knowing that, without being able to evaluate that, if we're going to be pushing this through as a legislature, we should be evaluating that every year as it comes out as a legislature. We evaluate everything else in our SMART Act hearings. Why aren't we evaluating and at least getting an eye on what this is and what we're putting out to our kids? So as a caucus, but as a legislature, we can determine what's dangerous and what's not for what we're giving out to our kids. So with that, I move L002 and ask that it be properly displayed.
That has been moved and is properly displayed. To the amendment, Representative Armagost.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So with this amendment, this is just going to say that every year, the Office of Gun Violence Prevention is going to need to present what information they're going to be putting out in whatever flyer needs to be prepared and ready for SMART Act hearings in every January, beginning next January. So this would be something that would help us as a legislature be able to evaluate and be able to screen what's going out, so we at least get eyes on it before it's put out to kids all across our state. I think it's the most responsible thing to do, since we are the legislator pushing this forward, to at least be able to be the legislature that recognizes it, evaluates it, and determines whether it's still appropriate to send out every year before it's sent out. So I ask for an aye vote.
We'll go Representative Caldwell, and then Hamrick. Are you speaking to the amendment? Representative Hamrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank my colleague from Larimer and Weld for bringing up this amendment. We consulted with fiscal analyst, and it will not cost anything. So I do really like the idea of transparency. As a legislator, I like to see where our bills go every year, and so I'm happy to support this amendment.
Is there any further discussion about Amendment 2 to House Bill 1250? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment 2. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment passes. To the bill. Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1250? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1250 as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill passes. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title of House Bill 1219.
House Bill 1219 by Representative Phillips, concerning requirements for metropolitan districts that aid the public's understanding of metropolitan districts.
Representative Barone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm waiting here for the prime sponsor of this bill. So my name is not up there, but I am officially on this bill. I jumped on this bill because this is a good governance bill. Oh, I'm sorry. I move House Bill HB 25-1219. Thank you, Monica. And the committee report.
Yes, and the committee report.
I did say that. Yeah.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in the committee, we talked about this, and it came out of committee a unanimous vote. This is a good governance bill, and I like to give the credit to Representative Phillips. She did all the work on this. I just came on to be the pretty face and the pretty hair of this bill, but but coming from a local government, exactly. Coming from local government, I do like this bill. Good governance, transparency is key. This is for people that don't really understand metro districts. A lot of people don't understand what they do, what their focus is, how they work. So it basically teaches the people at closing when you buy a new house or secondhand house, what your local metro district, if you're in a metro district, what they do, what they pay for, what those fees that you're paying go towards. So it's very, very, very good bill, transparency, like I said, and I urge an aye vote for this.
Let's go ahead and do the committee report. So the question before us is the passage of the Transportation, Housing, and Local Government Committee report. Is that cool, or would you like to talk about the committee report?
That is 100% cool.
I moved the committee report.
Okay, so the question is the passage of the committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report passes. To the bill, Representative Phillips.
To the bill. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. It's already been moved.
Okay, so I can just.
Yeah, you can speak to it.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Chair. As my colleague stated, what we care about right now in Colorado is affordability and housing, and so this bill addresses both of those issues in a positive way for our constituents, and also in agreement with businesses doing metro districts. So I move the bill.
Urge an aye vote.
Oh, I asked for an aye vote. I asked for an aye vote.
Terrific. Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1219? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1219. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill passes. Mr. Shebel, please read the title of House Bill 1210.
House Bill 1210 by Representatives Garcia Sanders and Lukens, also Senator Pelton B. and Marchman, concerning data reporting requirements for K through 12 schools.
Yes, and we will move it to the committee report.
Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1210 and the Education Committee report.
To the committee report. Representative Garcia Sander.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Amendment L004 to the Education Committee report before the report is adopted. And ask for it to be properly displayed.
That has been moved and is properly displayed. Tell us about the amendment, Representative Garcia Sander.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment simply moves the date from August 1st to August 31st at the request of CDE for reporting compliance. And we ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion about Amendment 4? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Amendment 4 to the Education Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. To the committee report. Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the Education Committee, we amended everything out of the bill that costs money. We ask for a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on the Education Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the Education Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report passes. To the bill, Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam.
Sorry, that was for the committee report.
I was being gavelled down. Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill is the first step to relieving the administrative burden for school districts and charter schools without eliminating important information that is needed for public policy and transparency. We ask for a yes vote.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What this bill now does is just offer some flexibility for our schools in their unified improvement planning process annual report. So we ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1210? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1210. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill passes. Mr. Shebel, please read the title of Senate Bill 140.
Senate Bill 140 by Senator Pelton R., also Representative Johnson, concerning adjusting dollar amounts related to the administration of irrigation districts formed pursuant to the irrigation district laws first enacted in 1905 to account for inflation.
Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As there was no committee report, I move SB 25-140.
To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. SB 140 makes limited amendments to the statutes around 1905 irrigation districts to address the fact that there has not been an inflation adjustment to these statutes in 20 years. The 1905 irrigation district statutes were amended in 1971 to adjust some of the dollar values for inflation. The dollar values were adjusted again in 2005. We are proposing that 20 years later, in 2025, these values be adjusted again. This bill only impacts irrigation districts organized under the 1905 statutes. Additionally, it has a provision for reoccurring inflation adjustments every 5 years, starting in July 2029, and I'd like to add that it was unanimous out of the Ag Committee. I urge a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 140? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 140. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill passes. Mr. Shebel, please read the title of House Bill 1283.
House Bill 1283 by Representative Duran, concerning measures to implement the Wild Horse Working Group's legislative recommendations.
Majority Leader Duran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1283 and the Ag report.
To the Ag Committee report. Representative, Majority Leader Duran.
In Ag, we ran technical amendments to clean up some of the bill language to make sure the continuous spending authority was there and clarification on appointment consulting. I ask for a yes vote.
Assistant Minority Leader Winter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And y'all, I just want to approach this issue basically not only trying to protect the wild horses in our state, which are part of our Western heritage, but also for our livestock producers in the state. if we don't find a way to manage this herd in the responsible way, it just creates competition in the ecosystem. It's hard on rangeland. We have the possible spread of equine influenza. There's so many other things that come along with this. The interbreeding of horses, and I think the immunocontraception is huge to this because it strikes a middle ground between roundups and using a different method to try to reduce populations. So I think that this is good not only for the iconic Spirit of the West and the horses that we have in this state, but also good in maintaining a great ecosystem, healthy rangelands that also let our farmers, ranchers, and livestock producers be able to use those great grasslands as they graze cattle and other products. So with that being said, from rural Colorado, I urge a yes.
Okay, we're on the Agriculture, Water, and Natural Resources Committee report. Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report passes to the bill. Majority Leader Duran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I ask for a yes vote.
Seeing no further discussion on House Bill 1283, the question before us is the adoption of the bill and the cueing of the Rolling Stones, Wild Horses. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill passes, and the song can play us out into the next thing we do.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
Let's see where that one is. You have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Shebel, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report as under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof and making the following recommendations thereon. House Bills 1210 as amended, 1219 as amended, 1250 as amended, 1283 as amended, passed on second reading, ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 140 passed on second reading, ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage, and House Bill 1224 laid over until March 18th, 2025.
Members, you have heard the report. There are no amendments at the desk. Who is in the chair? Rep. Froelich. The motion before us is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Representative Story. Please close the machine. With 41 aye, 19 no, and 5 excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. Representative Armagost. Members, we do have a few more announcements.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So we have a visitor today who came back, my old judiciary buddy, former representative and now my congressman, Gabe Evans, is in the building. I just wanted to honor him today for moving on up and paying us a visit.
Thank you. Welcome, Congressman. Members, I have one last announcement, and then we're going to do some House business, and you'll be free to leave. First of all, kudos and recognition to the finest dressed in the House today, Representative Woodrow, Representative Gonzalez, and our own Mr. Shebel. I, however, currently possess the true luck of the Irish. For those of you that are unfamiliar, this is the green jacket from 1974 that has been passed back and forth from Democrat to Republican over these last 50-some years. As I understand the rules, they are, you may speak to me about a purchase of this fine jacket that might include a number of things like washing my car, or buying me a meal, or something more exotic. This coat may never leave Capitol grounds. It is sacred and contains the true luck of the Irish. Its power shall never be used for partisan advantage, and therefore requires that when the holder's public service is done, it shall be given to a member of the other party. I have been given the gift of this jacket from the Honorable Mike Lynch, who is no longer here in the chamber today, but he reminded me this morning that it was time to consider passing it along. So by the end of the week, make your bids. Oh, look. Yes. Oh, I'm excited. I look forward to more conversation. Thank you all. Members, we're going to go through business. You're free to leave. We will be moving into recess shortly. Mr. Shebel, reports of committees of reference.
Committee on Finance, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1208 be amended as followed and as so amended be referred to the Committee of the Whole, and Senate Bill 3 be amended as followed and as so amended be referred to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation.
Printing report.
The Chief Clerk reports
Printing
the
report
following.
will be printed in the Journal. Message from the Senate.
Madam Speaker, the Senate
Message
has
from
passed.
the Senate will be printed in the Journal. Message from the Governor.
Honorable members
Message
of the
from the Governor will be printed in the Journal. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar till Tuesday, March 18th, 2025.
The balance of the calendar will be laid over until tomorrow, March 18th. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move the House stand in recess until later today.
The House will stand in recess until later today.